Waterspouts are extraordinary weather events. They've been described as looking like the start of an alien invasion, especially when they catch the light in the right way. Sadly, they're in the news with the sudden sinking of the super yacht Bayesian off Sicily. It's not understood exactly what happened, particularly because it was at night, but it sank fast, and that suggests very violent and very sudden weather events, like a waterspout or the lesser-known downburst. Also, a very dramatic event that sometimes occurs with thunderstorms. Such extreme weather is fueled by warm seas, and increasingly the sea is getting hotter all over the world. It's only in recent years that some of the workings of waterspouts and the downbursts have been unravelled, helped by radar detection and flying directly into the storm itself. But sailors have known to be wary of them for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And they're certainly a threat. There are historical authenticated cases of large ships being destroyed by a spout. And they've been recorded at least since medieval times and all through the age of black and white photography to the present day. Let's take a quick look at how they form and the difference between a waterspout and a downburst. Many waterspouts, and particularly the ones I'm talking about here, are like the tornadoes that you find on land and can start in a number of different ways, but they all need warm, moist, unstable air which starts to spin, and of course over the ocean or over a large lake. This rotation can happen when two different air currents meet and shear against each other, or when updrafts are caused by powerful thunderstorms. Many waterspouts descend from a rotating part of thick cloud, and at first only contain the fog of the clouds, a very fine mist of fresh water. But then when they meet the sea, they also take up some seawater. How much depends on how powerful they are, and sometimes it can be 1 or 2 meters, and perhaps this is also where the rumour of fish and even frogs raining from the sky come from, because maybe they sometimes suck them up as they move over the ocean or a lake and then onto the land where they dump them unexpectedly. So just to make things a little more complicated, there are 2 types of waterspouts, and the ones I've been talking about are the high energy tornado types which start from the clouds and go downwards, but there are also something called fair weather waterspouts which come up from the surface, and they start with a little bit of spray at the surface and they come up towards the clouds, so the 2 are going in different directions. And I found a little video from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, called NOAA in the USA, which shows how fair weather waterspouts occur. It's a little bit old, but it's pretty good.
Fair weather waterspouts exhibit a 5-stage life cycle. Stage 1 is the formation of a disk on the surface of the water, known as a dark spot. Stage 2 is a spiral pattern on the water surface. Stage 3 is a formation of a spray ring. Stage 4 is where the waterspout becomes a visible funnel, and the life cycle ends with stage 5, where the waterspout decays.
So those are the fair weather waterspouts, but they're not really the main type that we're talking about here, because they're much gentler, they don't move as much, and they don't do much damage. When 2 different air currents meet, you sometimes see several waterspouts in a row, all along what's called the convergent line, where the 2 airflows are bumping into each other, and they start rotating. In 1974, a daring mission was done to fly aircraft right into waterspouts off Florida to measure their wind speed and temperature. They found that there is a rising current of about 20 miles an hour inside the vortex, and that the vortex is slightly warmer inside than on the outside. That might not sound like much inside, but it causes currents and speeds of up to 125 miles an hour outside the circumference of the vortex, so they can be very dangerous indeed. And although waterspouts are not usually as powerful as tornadoes, for a little while they can cause a lot of damage. Recently we've had a lot of new wind farms at sea, and wind farms and their turbines can be badly damaged by waterspouts, so there's a lot more new research on the detail of how and when and where waterspouts are most likely to occur, and where not to build your new wind farm. Downbursts, on the other hand, are more like a rain bomb from a cloud. They happen during violent thunderstorms, when cooling air rapidly condenses water, and it all falls to earth very fast, causing a sudden outburst of gushing wind getting out of its way, which radiates in all directions. They can be extremely violent, sometimes exceeding 160 miles an hour, so much faster, producing much faster winds than even the waterspouts, and more than enough to crush anything in a large area, which for downbursts can be up to 3 miles wide. And waterspouts can form at night too. This is a painting of waterspouts at night by Chris Chatfield, based on sketches of the scientific officer J. Swanson, who was doing research and sailing in the Mediterranean in the 1930s. There are over 500 waterspouts a year sighted in Europe, and more off the USA and the Florida Keys, and the Gulf of Mexico, where I've seen several myself filming for the Blue Planet. We are just starting to understand how changing sea surface temperatures affects extreme weather worldwide. Ultimately, the sea holds a vast amount of energy in the form of heat from the sun, and where temperatures get unusually high at the surface, then extreme weather events like the waterspouts and the downbursts are more likely to occur. In recent years, the Mediterranean has become very warm indeed. Temperatures of 33 centigrade over 90 Fahrenheit were recorded recently off Sicily, which is a known hotspot, a historical hotspot for waterspouts. Data from a project called Argo, thousands of profiling floats measuring temperatures at sea all over the world, shows a steady and significant increase in the sea surface temperatures over the last 20 years, which is how long Argo has been going. So we can expect waterspouts and downbursts to become even more common. Even though the sinking of a boat by a waterspout is of course a very rare event, what's called a black swan event, 1 in a million chance, it's a reminder of the power of nature and the unexpected consequences of warming our planet.